I'm not a very smart person. And I've armed my children. They speak French and they speak Italian. And my wife speaks French and Italian. So, I'm enjoying the ignorance of it all.
Picture this. Amal Clooney, the celebrated international human rights lawyer whose life has been one for the history books, stands in a moment of unexpected vulnerability. The woman who has defended the voiceless, stared down dictators, and waged legal battles in the world's most formidable courts, found herself holding back tears. But this wasn't in a courtroom or during an intense political negotiation. No, it was a simple conversation with her 7-year-old twins, Ella and Alexander, that broke through her meticulously composed demeanor. You probably heard of Amal and George Clooney's picturesque life, a marriage that feels like a modern-day fairy tale. The glamorous Amal in her sophisticated wardrobe, George shedding his bachelor status to become a devoted husband and father. However, beneath the polished surface, there lies a touching story of a mother who navigates the uncharted territory of parenthood, facing challenges and revelations that even a powerhouse like her couldn't have prepared for. The bittersweet confession, a moment that changed everything. Let's rewind to a frosty December afternoon in 2018 when the Clooney twins were seen bundled up in winter coats outside the Four Seasons Hotel. Known for their playful antics and inherited charm, Ella and Alexander have never failed to light up the lives of their parents with their mischievous humor. George himself has chuckled over stories of Alexander hugging his favorite possession, a car, in a display of childlike devotion that reflects his father's famous sense of humor. Meanwhile, Ella has been dipping into Amal's designer purses, perhaps foreshadowing a future fashionista. But beyond the laughter and pranks, there's a different layer to the twins that emerged during a candid conversation. Amal, who has spent her career advocating for justice and compassion, never imagined how profoundly her work would impact her children. It was a typical evening, the twins' voices echoing through their Lake Como home when they asked their mother some seemingly simple but soul-stirring questions. Why do people need protection? Why do you work so hard? For Amal, this was the moment. It wasn't the academic accolades, the prestigious cases, or even her groundbreaking work with the United Nations that moved her. Instead, it was the realization that her children were beginning to grasp the very essence of her life's mission. Their innocent yet wise words reminded Amal that her tireless pursuit of justice wasn't just shaping the world, but also her own family. Tears welled up in her eyes as she understood that her twins were developing hearts as empathetic as they were curious. Amal's path to becoming one of the world's most respected human rights defenders was shaped by experiences that could have left anyone jaded. Born in Beirut during a time of immense political upheaval, her family was forced to flee the Lebanese civil war when she was just 2 years old. They sought refuge in England, where Amal grew up in a household that valued resilience and intellect. Her mother, a prominent political journalist, and her father, a businessman with deep ties to Beirut's Druze community, instilled in her the belief that a meaningful life is one that fights for others. From Dr. Challoner's High School to St. Hugh's College, Oxford, and later New York University, Amal's academic brilliance was always apparent. She interned under Sonia Sotomayor before her Supreme Court days, absorbing lessons in law that she would later use to confront global injustices. But it wasn't just the intellectual prowess that defined her. It was her inherent empathy, a quality that quietly shaped the advocate she became, finding love in an unexpected place. Amal had been so deeply entrenched in her career that she never imagined the turn her life would take in 2013 when she met Hollywood's most notorious bachelor, George Clooney. Introduced by a mutual friend at George's home on the stunning shores of Lake Como, Amal was initially skeptical about love. But as she and George grew closer, she realized there was something undeniable between them. A shared passion for humanitarian work and a genuine connection that transcended their vastly different worlds. Their whirlwind romance culminated in a breathtaking wedding in Venice in 2014. The sun-kissed canals, Oscar de la Renta lace gown, and an intimate guest list made headlines worldwide. And then, in 2017, their life was transformed yet again with the birth of Ella and Alexander. George, once the poster child for bachelorhood, morphed into a devoted family man, embracing fatherhood with a warmth that melted Amal's heart. Yet, As much as their love story reads like a Hollywood script, it's the quieter, more intimate moments that matter most. Fast forward to the present, and the Clooneys find themselves in the throes of balancing fame, demanding careers, and family life. Despite their efforts to keep things normal, it's not easy when both parents are global icons. Amal's recent legal work in Ukraine and Washington, D.C., and George's film commitments sometimes pull them apart, adding strain to their otherwise blissful union. The couple's vow never to spend more than a week apart became harder to keep, especially with George's upcoming Broadway debut and Amal's high-stakes cases abroad. Ella and Alexander, now 7, have begun noticing these absences. Recently, they confessed how much they miss having both parents around, a revelation that left Amal visibly emotional. It's a heartbreaking reminder that no amount of money, fame, or professional success can substitute for family time. Yet, Amal, who has always been fiercely protective of her children's privacy, felt the weight of this confession deeply. It was a reminder of the fine line she walks between being a global human rights champion and a present, loving mother. Alexander's questions and Ella's quiet strength. Alexander, the more outgoing of the two, has started asking Amal why her work is so important. These questions don't just tug at her heartstrings, they shake her to her core, revealing the deep and observant nature of her little boy. Amal's pride in her son is palpable, but there's also a bittersweet understanding that one day he and Ella will have to make sense of their parents' legacy, a legacy intertwined with fighting for justice and compassion. Ella, on the other hand, is quieter but just as compelling. Known for her thoughtful and serious demeanor, she has a burgeoning love for fashion, often mirroring her mother's impeccable style. Even though she's more reserved, Ella has a playful side that comes out when she feels safe. When their St. Bernard puppy Rosie was stung by a bee, Ella's gentle nature was on full display as she worried about the dog, while Alexander confidently shared the story with anyone who would listen. Watching her daughter grow into a unique blend of seriousness and whimsy has been a heartwarming journey for Amal. It's a poignant reminder of how quickly time passes, and how these moments, though fleeting, are incredibly precious. Balancing fame, work, and family. It's no secret that Amal and George live extraordinary lives. Yet, their commitment to raising Ella and Alexander in a nurturing and grounded environment is clear. Amal, who once thought her work would always be her primary focus, has found a new kind of fulfillment in motherhood. Still, rumors of the couple's struggle to balance their professional and personal lives have circulated, especially with their busy schedules pulling them in different directions. Despite the challenges, the Clooneys are determined to give their children a sense of normalcy, even if it means redefining what normal looks like for a family of this stature. The emotional moments, like Alexander's compassionate questions or Ella's shy smile as she explores her mother's closet, are what keep Amal going. They remind her that her legacy isn't just about the court cases she wins, but also about the children she's raising to care deeply about the world. Amal Clooney's journey from a Beirut-born refugee to a globally respected human rights advocate and loving mother is nothing short of inspiring. Her children, Ella and Alexander, have already begun to inherit her compassion and sense of justice. But for Amal, the most significant victory lies not in her public triumphs, but in the private, everyday moments that reveal her family's love and resilience. As she continues to fight for a better world, Amal remains a testament to the idea that love, family, and a shared purpose can shape not only a person, but an entire generation. How this story unfolds as the Clooney twins grow up, only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Amal and George are determined to raise compassionate, thoughtful, and brave souls who just might change the world one day. What do you think about Amal Clooney's heartfelt moment with her children? Does this reveal a side of her that you hadn't seen before? Share your thoughts in the comments below.